Welcome everyone to Maximize Your Monday. In today's quote, we're going to go to the quote of the week, which is honestly one of my favorite topics we're going to be talking about today. And I'm super excited. Once again, this comes from the Maximize Your Life Planner. You can pick that up at www.maximizeyourlifeplanner.com. But the quote of the week goes like this: develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones of success. That's by Dale Carnegie. If you haven't picked up his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, phenomenal book. So once again, develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones of success. Now, I want to break that down and talk about exactly that. Like, what does that really mean? Once again, develop success from failures. And he's talking about utilizing discouragement and failure as a stepping stone towards your success. Now, the first thing I want to say is we have to learn how to reframe our perception of failure. What do we think when we think of failure? See, for me, failure is a prerequisite to success. So I don't know if you went to college, but when I went into college, I had some prerequisite classes before I got into the classes I really wanted to go to, right? I went to school, I got a bachelor's in graphics and marketing, and I couldn't wait to get into my graphic design classes. But as a prerequisite to those classes, I needed to take art history. And for me, I was like, art history, what am I talking about? But it was a prerequisite for me to get there. So when you're reframing your perception of failure, you got to look at failure as a stepping stone. It is a part of success. Failure, a lot of people think failure is the opposite of success. Failure, I'm here to tell you, listen to me clearly. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. I really want you to embrace that. It's a part of it, all right? Failure is simply an opportunity to start over. See, the way you look at it, you got to look at failure. Just this time, if you look at it this time around, like if you look at failure as an opportunity to start over, like start over, right? But the next time you start over, this time around, you're doing it with more experience. Why? Because you learned something from that failure. Failure is the key to success, all right? Each mistake teaches us something new. Think about that real quick. Every time you fail, you're like, oh, I learned how not to do it. I learned something that didn't go right so I can apply it and do it better. Even it reminds me of Thomas Edison. If you guys know Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb, right? They asked him one time, they said, Mr. Edison, how does it feel to fail so many times? Because he tried to create the light bulb time after time after time. He failed after failure after failure after failure. And his response to that was, I have not failed. I found 10,000 ways that it won't work. Think about that posture. He already shifted his perspective. Other people you can think of, the Wright brothers, the guys that created flight, they failed time after time after time after time. They tried to figure out how to create a plane. And they failed and failed and failed. But they eventually got it right. Michael Jordan, he missed shot after shot after shot. But he's not remembered for the shots he missed. He's remembered for the shots he made. Even if you look at like sports, utilizing Michael Jordan, but also baseball. Did you know that the average baseball player that he like $1 million baseball player typically strikes out 7 out of 10 times. So they hit the ball 3 times. If you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you are an all-star. How crazy is that? Oprah, she got fired early on. Walt Disney got fired. Failure after failure after failure. But what did they do? They kept going. But more importantly, it's a motto that I live by, and it goes hand in hand with this quote. You either win or you learn. You never, ever lose. See, me, I never lose. Why? Because at the end of the day, what I do is as long as I take that L, see, I never lose. I take the L and I turn it into a lesson. I turn the loss into a lesson. And as long as you receive that lesson and learn from it. And once you learn from it enough that you've went after loss after loss after loss, but you converted that loss into a lesson, into a lesson, into a lesson. And once you learn enough, you don't have to take the L, you drop the L from learn, and now you're looking at to earn. You're earning, you're making more money, you're having more success, you're living out your dreams because you took that L, the loss, turned it into a lesson, learn from that lesson to do it right the next time, drop the L, now you're earning. How cool is that? I don't know about y'all, but that gets me excited. By the way, speaking of L, I want you to understand that you were designed to win, but programmed to lose. Why am I saying that to you, that you were designed to win, but programmed to lose? In school, when you failed, you got that big F, boom, on top of the paper, right? It was frowned upon. It made you feel a little weak inside. It made you feel like you wasn't worthy, like, oh my God, what are my parents gonna say? Gave you a little bit of anxiety. Why? Because they made you believe that there was something wrong with that. There's something wrong with failure. They use that F, right? And the crazy thing is that many of us are afraid to fail because of that programming. Once again, you were designed to win, because you were designed by an amazing God. You were designed to win, but programmed to fail through the system we were brought up in. So many people are afraid to fail, so we don't even try. How crazy is that? That we don't want to fail, so we don't try. And because we don't try, we don't achieve what we want to achieve. But I always ask people, because sometimes people go, Max, what if it doesn't work? Okay, what if it does? I always like to respond to that question with a question. Like, think about that. Every time you think the thought, what if it doesn't work? I want you, this is now you learning from this. All right, we're gonna take a lesson now. When you think, what if it doesn't work? Pause and think about all the ways it could work, and what if it did work? How would life be that much more different if it did work? And remember, failure many times, and probably most of the time, is a greater teacher than success. You heard me? Failure is a greater teacher than success. You're going to learn more from your losses than from your successes. How crazy is that? Now, if you really want to be good, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'm like, that's cool, like, but what if I can skip the hurt from the loss, right? You know what you do? You learn from other people's losses. That's why it's good to get mentorship, to have a coach, to read books, read about other people's failures, because not only did they get a lesson from it, and they have probably achieved success. And by the way, make sure it's someone that has achieved what you want to achieve. But there's nothing wrong with you copying that person. It's okay to be a copycat if you're copying the right cat, right? So if they have the success you want, the things you want, the career you want, the job you want, the business you want, the lifestyle you want, there's nothing wrong with copying that and learning from their failure, so you don't have to go through that loss as bad. But once again, failure is a prerequisite to success. And going back to the quote, it talks about being a stepping stone. And I want to remind you, stepping stone. You have to take a step from failure to failure to failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. I really like that word. You know why? If you look up the root word of enthusiasm, is entheos. And if you look that Greek word up, entheos, it means the God within. The God within. You know what gets me excited about when I hear that enthusiasm? That's why, and you guys think, some people think that I got too much energy. Some people think this is like a show. No, if you meet me in person, I got a lot of energy. Why? Because I have a God within me. See, when you realize that you were made in his image and you have a God within you, that right there gets me excited. It gives me an attitude of gratitude. Speaking of attitude, your attitude determines your altitude. That's why you have to go from failure to failure to failure to failure with enthusiasm, speaking to the God within, having a good attitude of gratitude, and your attitude determines your altitude, which brings us to our declaration of the week. I told you I was going to get fired up. This subject, man, failure, because I see so many people looking at failure and saying, oh, like they're scared of it. You have to go through it. But let's get to the declaration, because this one, it goes hand in hand with today's quote. The declaration of the week is this. And by the way, in case you're wondering, maybe you're new to this channel, maybe you're new to this video or our Mondays, we say declarations to speak to our subconscious mind. And we're saying it in present tense so that our mindset, our subconscious mind, can act accordingly as if that thing has already happened. So you're moving forward with enthusiasm, but not just enthusiasm, but certainty, because you are that. I am that. So the declaration is, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. I am God's masterpiece because I am a piece of the master. I am God's masterpiece because I am a piece of the master. Man, I don't know about you, but that gets me fired up. What it reminds me of, if you go back to the good book, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a believer. And I read this thing called the Bible. And in the Bible, in the beginning, right? In the beginning of the Bible, in Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 24, it says, then God said, you know, when God was saying he was, let there be light, no, this is when he said, then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Here's what I want you to know. Maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but I want to remind you today. Each and every one of us has a piece of God within us. I just talked about the word enthusiasm, entheus, right? The God within. When you realize that you have a piece of God within you, guess what? You're going to be enthusiastic. You're going to get excited. Why? Because a piece of him is inside you. You were designed in his image. You were made in his image. Don't forget that. Get excited about that. Get enthusiastic about that. Be certain about that. So when you're going through trials and tribulations, when you're going through the valley of failure and you're getting roughed up, you got to think about the end goal. You got to go out with enthusiasm, knowing that I am a piece of the master. I'm a masterpiece. He created me. See, here's what I want you to know. Your purpose in life is to discover your God-given genius. He gives you a gift. Like God gives you a gift, a talent. What is it that you do with little effort, but makes the greatest impact? Think about that, Rick. We have that one thing that we do with ease. But you know what the crazy part is? Here's the crazy part. We do it with so much ease, and it seems so simple to us that we don't believe it's our God-given genius. See, one of the ways to figure it out is ask your family and friends, what do you think I'm good at? And a lot of times they're going to say things and you're like, that? I thought everyone was good at that. Like, I'll give you one of my God-given genius talents that God has blessed me with is I have an eye for graphics and art and creating things through digital media. People can give me an idea and I can bring it to life. Just the other day, I was working on a design and my wife was behind me watching me as I was doing it because she was like memorized by how I did it. She goes, man, you just did that in about 5-10 minutes. That would have took me like 5 to 10 days, you know? And I was like, really? I don't know. Why? Because it came to me with ease. It's my God-given genius, right? I said, Jesus. I slipped out, right? But at the end of the day, what do you do with little effort but makes the greatest impact? Think about that real quick. And then once you discover what your God-given genius is, you know what you got to do? You have to embrace it and develop it. So you go from discovering it to developing it. You have to become better. I heard the quote once, maybe you heard it. In order to get better, you got to do better. You got to become better. That's what life is all about, becoming better. Study your craft, learn new skills, become a master at your craft, become a master at your talent, because then you can develop it more and more and more and more. And it is your duty, once you develop it, to take that gift and deploy it, give it to the world, put it out there, help people, use that gift to make a positive impact on the world around you. See, it also in Genesis, God said to us that we were blessed, right? We were blessed, but it's not just about being blessed. It's about being a blessing. How can you take your talent and go become a blessing to someone else? That's when it gets exciting. See, here's what I want you to know. If this is the easiest way I can explain it. Your talent, listen to me clearly, you're a God-given genius. Your talent is God's gift to you. I'm already feeling I'm getting excited, man. See, I told you, this is one of my favorite subjects. Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with that talent, what you do with your God-given gift, your God-given genius, is your gift to him. I'm going to repeat that a little slower. Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with that talent is your gift to him. See, I don't know about y'all, but if you know that I don't know about y'all, but I want to serve my God. I yield my life to him, and I want to serve him and make him happy, because he has blessed me with abundance. He has blessed me with blessing. He has blessed me with a good life, right? So if my job, my duty is to bless him back, is to give a gift back to him, I want to do my part. I want to do whatever I can to not only discover it, not only to develop it, but also to deploy it and impact this world, impact his kingdom and his children. Here's a clue. The first thing God tells us about him, the first thing in the good book, in the Bible, you open it up to the first page in Genesis 1:1, the first thing he says about him. He's a lot of things, but the first thing he tells us is that he's creative. In the beginning, God created. He tells us he's a creative God. He creates. So if we doing basic math, if we were designed in his image, and his image is of a creative God, that makes us creative. We were designed to be creative. Remember I said earlier, we were designed to win, but programmed to lose? When you create, you win, because you're creating things, right? But here's another clue. We were each given a unique, listen to me, we were each given a unique aspect of his creativity. So let me be clear. My talent is not your talent. There's no room, listen to me, there's no room for jealousy or envy. I'm really good at doing graphics and marketing. Another thing that people tell me I'm good at is making something really simple, really complex, into making it super simple. When I teach people, when I have a gift of speech, right? That talent might not be your talent. But guess what? You have your own unique talent that God gifted you with. And you know what the crazy part is? Like I said, there's no room for jealousy or envy. The true blessing, if you want to know what the true blessing is, the true blessing is not from competition. Like we weren't created to compete and be jealous, envy, and competition. The true blessing, if you really want to see your true blessing and really manifest and create massive impact, massive blessings for all, like if you want to see the kingdom of God prospering and growing and becoming bigger and bigger, is when we collaborate. When we collaborate with one another, because I understand that my gift is not your gift and your gift is not my gift, but when we come together, think about it. If I just told you that each and every one of us was giving an aspect of God's creativity within us. Remember, first thing he says about himself is he's creative. Then he goes on to say that we were designed in his image, meaning we are creative beings. He put an aspect of him of his creativity in each and every one of us. And when we come together and collaborate, it's like, you ever seen, what's it called, Voltron, when all the pieces come together and create that huge robot? We are a piece of the kingdom. And when we all come together and we collaborate, we can impact even more people. We were designed to create. We were designed to connect and collaborate. And lastly, because when we connect and collaborate in a creative way, we can contribute. We can use our talents to contribute and make this a better world. See, I told you I was going to get fired up. I get fired up with the subject because I really get excited about knowing, going back to the declaration, knowing that I am God's masterpiece because I'm a piece of the master. How amazing is that? You are God's masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Now, never, ever, ever, ever forget that. You are worthy. You have greatness inside you. Remember that. The first thing God said about himself was he was creative. The first thing, I said this earlier, listen to me. The first thing he did to man was bless him. He said he blessed him and then told him to be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion, right? So before he told us what to do, he said, you're blessed. You are blessed. And because I'm reminding you that the first thing God did to you was bless you, someone out there right now is struggling. They're feeling this message. They're getting excited, but they're looking at their failures. Like I said earlier in this message, the quote of the week, you got to look at failures as a prerequisite to success. You got to go from failure to failure to failure and take the lesson from that failure, go reapply it, reapply what you learned and go after it to push to win again. Even if you fail again, you learn another way that didn't work. You come back to the drawing board, you go back again with enthusiasm. But here's the big thing I want you to realize. I want to leave you with this. I just told you the first thing he did to man was bless him. So when you're stressed out because of failures, when you're stressed out about what's going on in life, what's happening to life, I want to remind you that you're too blessed to be stressed. You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Don't allow your circumstances, your situation, your problems, your obstacles, your challenges to define you. Allow them to redefine you. Repeat that. Allow them to redefine you. Utilize those failures. Utilize those struggles. Utilize those obstacles. Utilize those challenges to allow you to step up and become a better you. And when you become better, guess what? You attract better. And when you attract better, you're living better. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I told you I was going to get fired up. I already knew it before we even started this call today because I already knew what the subject was. If you got some value from this message, type it in the comments below. If you really got some value, share it with someone. Tag a friend. Send this link to someone. Subscribe. Like this post. Put on the notifications because next Monday, we're going to do it again. I want to thank everyone for their time. I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in, commenting, showing me love. Once again, if you're still looking for it, the Maximize Your Life Planner, that's where I got the quote from and the declaration from. It's an amazing planner. You go check it out. But thank you once again for your time. I greatly appreciate everyone. God bless. Take care. Let's go live life to the max and let's go impact this world. Peace out.